Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time. This time on the Kindness Project, dogs, the Kindness Project going global, and Harry Potter related kindness stories.
Welcome to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by the man who doesn't like dogs, but will cuddle with them anyway, Chris Dames.
I love dogs, what are you talking about? And I'm joined by the girl who's travelled the world, but her favourite place is still her bed. It's Charlotte. How you doing this week, Charlotte?
Not bad, not bad.
Good stuff. Well, we're re-recording this, aren't we? Because the editor we say is awesome every single week. It's like...
Lost a file, which means that we're at very short notice. The podcast goes out Thursday. What?
We're re-recording this, but because this is the most up-to-date introduction, I've got some really exciting news to share. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
So we are now a 5-star podcast.
Woo-hoo!
I know, it's good stuff, isn't it? We've had a bunch of reviews come in, really nice. Thank you, all of our listeners. And we've got enough reviews for to be a 5-star podcast. But listeners, we're getting to be grading now because we'd like some more. Would you like some more, Charlotte?
I'd like some more.
I want some more.
Hey, sir, can I have some more?
Please, can we have some more reviews? We are not podcast review.
We're not desperate. But please.
Desperados. But can I have some more, please?
Not that good.
So yeah, if you're really enjoying the podcast, listeners, feel free to leave us a review on that old devil called iTunes, and we'll really appreciate
the devil
it.
Called iTunes.
And we'll make sure we give you a shout out. That's the good news part 1.
Part 1?
Yeah. Good news part 2.
Is there any more than 2 parts?
Is we've got more than 2 listeners. Right? We haven't got 3. We haven't got 4. We haven't even got 5. We've got 6. No, I'm kidding. We have now got...
We have 0 listeners, nobody.
Is anybody out there? Is anybody? We've got thousands of listeners.
What?
Listen, I know. Listening to the... I'm as surprised as you.
I don't even listen to it.
I'm shocked. You don't even listen to it.
No, because I don't like listening to my own voice because it makes me feel egotistical.
That's because you told me I don't like the sound of my own voice, so I've got to listen to it to make sure it sounds okay, but you don't. But we've got thousands of listeners.
Thousands as in more than 1,000.
More than 1,000. We're
2,000 or...
We're heading towards the 2,000 mark, which is very, very good. And we've got listeners across the world. I mean, obviously, we've got a few in London.
A few.
We haven't got that many in Birmingham. I think they switched off after they heard me do my... You're looking a bit appalled now, but I think our listeners in Birmingham switched off after they listened to my Brummie accent, to be honest. What do you think?
What Brummie accent is that?
What do you think?
Oh my God.
What do you think? But we've got listeners in Brazil.
What?
We're quite popular in America. Venezuela, apparently. We've got one listener in Nigeria, I think. We've got listeners enjoying.
How are people in Nigeria?
One.
How is this random person in Nigeria hearing about the Kindness Project?
I don't know.
Maybe it's someone who's gone on holiday and just like, ooh, I forgot to do this while I was in England.
Maybe, but certainly we're getting little indications of the Kindness Project becoming global. Well, yeah, I mean, we've got a few thousand, we've got a couple of thousand nearly listeners, but
here and there.
But we're really enjoying the project. We're going to carry on.
Yes.
We really rely on your iTunes reviews, and apparently it's just not me, you, Russell, and our family that listen to it. There's a few people that actually quite enjoy it.
Yep.
Which is cool.
I don't think our family's that big.
No, it's not. We haven't got 2,000 people in our family, but as a community we're growing. So again, we can't do this without you. Thank you, dear listeners, for continuing to listen, leaving comments, because we do love a good comment, don't we?
Funny.
We do love a good comment, and getting involved. But let's go back to that introduction, right?
Yep.
We are global.
Uh-huh.
People are listening to us throughout the world. You've travelled a bit, Charlotte.
Yeah.
For your ripe old age of 14, you've done a bit of travelling.
Yeah.
You love your bed a bit, don't you?
It's the most comfortable place.
I know, but when you're in it like 24/7, when you're not at school, I mean that might be a bit much, right?
It helps me think.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Right.
because it reminds me of sleep, and then it reminds me of my dreams, and then that helps me think about stuff.
Almost a good justification of staying in bed all day now. And I do like a dog cuddle. I think dog cuddles are quite therapeutic.
Yeah, but when I wanted to get our dog, you were like, no, we're not having it.
Yeah, I was never a big dog fan, was I?
No. And then we got Dexter.
And then Dexter came along, and I thought, you know what? I can live with dogs. But he's not been well recently, has he?
Nah.
So he's been one of those sort of cone head things. And I might go one for myself to stop my biscuit habit of popping to the biscuit tin and eating biscuits.
It wouldn't stop you because you could just reach around the cone. The thing with him, he has to scoop everything up in his face.
You know what I need? I need a cone head and 2 cone hands. So every time I try and put the hand in the biscuit tin, I can't actually get in the biscuit tin.
Yeah, but if you had cone hands, you would take your fork and knock your entire plate over.
Maybe I would. So, can you let the listeners know how they can get in touch?
Twitter, @HolaKindness. Almost forgot it there. It's been so long since we've done intros. HOLA Kindness.
Yeah.
And then the email.
Here we go.
Let me just remember it. Ola @thekindness.
Ola with a H, listeners. Ola.
@thekindnessproject.co.uk.
When you type it into the internet, you haven't got to put like .co.uk. You haven't got to put a little like sort of
apostrophe.
Just
an exclamation.
When you go home, and if you've got like one of those sort of Amazon, what are they called? Little speakers, Alexa.
Yeah.
If you've got an Alexa, just speaking to Alexa, can you show me where the kindnessproject.co.uk is and see if it recognises it? I don't know, it might.
No, there's this girl in my class, right? She's called Alexia, and all the boys, that sit behind her in art, they like to teach me, go, Alexa, play my dance track. So like,
Alexa, can you play Attention by Charlie Puth?
That's you all over.
Oh, I love that song. What's Alexia like?
Nice.
She's nice. Okay, cool. So, it's that time again. We haven't had our question. Are you doing it or am I?
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Question.
Oh, of the podcast. Do, do, do.
See, it comes with a cough. You get a jingle, you get a trumpet at the end, and it's getting more. Now look, our 1,000-odd listeners has gone to your head, I think, because now you're adding a trumpet. Don't play up your role, Charlotte, alright?
What is my role?
Official podcast
noisemaker.
Jingle noisemaker, yeah, that's it. So, the question of the podcast is, listeners, what is the favourite thing about where you live? What's the favourite thing, Charlotte, about where you live? That noise.
That just came from my mouth.
Just a bizarre sort of
mouth raspberry thing.
Mouth raspberry noise.
I don't know. I'm trying to laugh.
Is it mouth raspberries? Why would mouth raspberries be the favourite thing about where you live?
No, there's like loads of different, there's loads of different kind of takeaway, and there's loads of different kind of stuff to
Takeaways. Curry. The fact that you can get curry and Chinese on tap.
I don't like Chinese. People are going to hate me for saying that now. But
she's talking about the food, all right, not the people. She's far from being a racist. Just to be clear.
No, I don't mind homemade Chinese, but like when they make it in like Chinese takeaway shops, it's all greasy and stuff. I don't like it.
Homemade Chinese made by your mum, who's not actually Chinese. Is that what you're saying?
Still good Chinese.
Okay, cool. So what we want to do, listeners, as always, we want to hear from you about where you live and what's your favourite thing about where you live. So now we've done this emergency podcast introduction, so should we get on with the show?
Y'all.
So after last week's kindness news, are we turning kindness news into kindness not news? Because you gave us a story last week that was like a year old, didn't
Most of my stories are like a year old. You don't even notice.
Well, look, a year's fine. I mean, can you just make sure that
They're not in the last century.
yeah, exactly. They're not 70s news or 80s news.
Well, actually.
Or if we do 60s news, Chris Budd might like it, might he? Because he likes stuff from the 60s.
Well, actually, today I've got a bit of a famous bit of news.
Oh, famous news. Who's it contained?
The Pope.
The Pope. So this is not kindness news. This is Pope news.
Pope news.
Pope news. Have you got a jingle for that, Pope news?
Pope news.
That is suitably holy.
Yeah.
That piece of random jingle. Tell us about your Sorry, is it just Pope news or is it Pope news related to kindness?
Pope news related to kindness.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I wouldn't just say, oh look, we've got a new Pope, guys.
Yeah, I'm changing this to the Pope Project randomly. I don't want to talk about kindness anymore. I just want to talk about the Pope.
Yeah, he brushed his teeth this morning, guys.
Pope news. He's just put his hat on. So tell us how the Pope's been. And this Pope, particularly this Pope, even though I'm not religious, this Pope is a bit of a good Pope, isn't he? Because he tends to be more open-minded, more liberal, more intelligent in terms of comment. But what's he been doing to be a bit kind?
Giving someone a hug can make a difference to a person in need of support and comfort. And there are pictures of Pope Francis taking his time to embrace a man with tumours all over his body where broadcasts around the world.
Love it.
The man suffers from a rare condition called neurofibromatosis.
Okay.
That has left him covered in neuronal tumours.
You should have read this before you started to read it out, shouldn't you?
I've read it like...
Yeah, so his body is covered with tumours, right?
Including growths on his face.
Okay.
The pontiff stopped to hug, kiss and blew him in some... bless him.
So what did he do? Hug, kiss and blew him a kiss? Or...
I was going to say blew him a kiss, and then I realised it wasn't blew him a kiss.
The Pope gave him a hug, a kiss, and then blew him a kiss.
No, he blessed him.
And he went, miss you, see you later.
In St. Peter's Square in Rome.
That's a really nice story.
About the Pope.
Yeah, about the Pope. And I tell you what, this Pope is actually...
A decent fella.
Seems like a very decent fella. So thank you for this. And when was that story published, just out of interest?
I don't know.
Probably sometime in the last century, but we'll live with that. Well done, the Pope. And we'll see you next time on Kindness News. So Charlotte, when we've interviewed quite a lot of guests recently, and I know we haven't sort of released a lot of those interviews yet, but we're going to. And one of the recurring themes that always comes up when we ask about who's your favourite book character, what character from a book reminds you of being kind the most, Harry Potter comes up loads. Now, who do you think, out of all the interviews we've done, is the most generous character? Who's the one that...
I haven't done a lot of the interviews. I think I've done one so far. So, I wouldn't know.
No, so who would you guess that might be seen as kind in the Harry Potter books?
Who would be seen as kind in the Harry Potter book? Hermione?
Hermione comes up loads. So a lot of people, when we ask them who's the character in a book that you think is most kind, or who would you like to be as a kind character in a book, Hermione Granger comes up loads. Yeah. And I didn't think we'd ever be able to do this, but today we've got 3 stories of kindness related to Harry Potter.
Well...
What do you mean, well?
The first one is not entirely related to Harry Potter, but it's one of the actors from Harry Potter that...
Okay, fine.
Centred around.
So do you want to tell the story?
Okay. So there was these people, and they went to watch a musical, I think. I'm not sure. And Daniel Radcliffe was there.
Okay. It could have been a theatre show, couldn't it?
Yeah. And he took 45 minutes out of his time, take pictures, and sign all the playbills for people who wanted signatures for them.
Oh, that's nice. That's a lovely thing. You know what? If people pay money and come and see a show, the least you can expect from the actor is just spend a bit of time engaging with the audience and having a chat and stuff like that. That's a great story. So that's our first Harry Potter related story. You got another one?
Yes. Okay, so there's these kids and they were trick-or-treating, and one of the kids...
Where were they?
In New York.
New York. So good they named it twice? Or was that Romford? I can't remember.
No. It might have been Essex.
New York.
Okay, so one of the kids in the group, a 5-year-old boy who was dressed up as Harry Potter, complete with matted hair, glasses and wand, was walking down East 78th Street, which is a popular Halloween spot for the NYC.
So this is kids in New York, trick-or-treating, going down the street, going into houses, asking for trick-or-treat, and then what happened?
Okay. Since all the townhouses and apartments on the blocks between Park and 3rd Avenue go all out decorating for the holiday and load them up with candy. Amid the madness, the boy was walking along the street when a young woman came up to him and said, "Excuse me, are you Harry Potter?" After he mumbled out yes, she said, "That's great because I'm Hermione Granger and we're best friends," and she gave him a big hug. Of course, the boy was too young to realise that it was indeed Emma Watson, who couldn't have been nicer.
That is an awesome story. So she's walking in New York, saw a small child dressed as Harry Potter, and then said, "I'm actually Hermione."
Yeah.
I mean, how many kids would love to meet the real life actress who played? Is it Emma Watson who plays Hermione Granger? It is, isn't she?
Yeah.
And she's quite well known for being kind. I think she does stuff for loads of charities and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Who else is kind in the Harry Potter universe? Because that's two people.
Okay. Before the release of Harry Potter series' 4th book, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, J.K. Rowling wrote the book's ending a year early for Natalie MacDonald, a little girl diagnosed with leukemia. Natalie died before reading J.K.'s email, so J.K. named a character after her. The character was sorted into Gryffindor.
Really?
Yep.
So she did something inspired by this girl who then died, and she named a character after her.
Yeah.
What a lovely thing to do. And who's your favourite? Who are the kindest characters in Harry Potter, do you think?
I mean, Hermione, obviously, because she wanted to be smart, but she wanted to help her friends as well, and I think she kind of let her desire to help her friends overcome her desire to become wiser. Okay. And I think that was the kind of thing. And Neville as well. I think. I love Neville.
You know what, Neville? Is Neville? I see you know a lot more about Harry Potter than me, but my understanding is Neville is the only person in Harry Potter where they talk about him supporting the football team. Yeah. Is that right? And their football team is?
I think it's West Ham.
West Ham United, yeah.
But
why is Neville so kind?
I think he's got such in the books. He's got a really tragic backstory.
What's his backstory?
I'm not going into depths of it because spoilers, guys. But also I can't remember it off the top of my head. Anyway, and it's
right. Is it spoilers or is it you can't remember?
No, I remember bits and pieces of it. I don't want to give half the
story
much away. And then and then not give you the rest. And I think he still seems kind of smiley, and he always tries to help out. Yeah. And
so he's staying positive despite adversity. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I think that makes him quite kind because he's not focusing on his own problems, but he's trying to support others. Yeah,
well, I think certainly sort of kindness to others helps you as well because it helps you stay happy, doesn't it? So it's all good. Do you reckon J.K. Rowling intentionally wrote kind characters?
I don't know. Maybe she was trying to make good role models for kids.
Maybe, and I think she succeeded in that regard, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So, any other Harry Potter related stories you got for us?
No, I think that's the last one.
Okay, cool.
The end.
And now the end is near. It's not the end though, is it?
So I face the final. Sorry, I had to.
Go on.
Yeah, it's the end, guys. We're all doomed.
We're not doomed. It's only the end of the podcast.
Exactly.
But can I just say, we've got a couple of other things to talk about at the end of the podcast, as we always do on the Kindness Project. Mm-hmm. We always do. Last week's question answered this week. And
last week answered this week.
Yeah. And can I just say, we have had a bumper response this week. I mean, we've never had a question like it. Biscuits came close. Eggs came even closer. But this week we had a relative huge amount of responses.
You're talking about like we've done hundreds. This is only the 15th question.
It is only the 15th question, but even so, this is the biggest one yet. Can you tell us what that question is?
Who is your favourite Muppet?
See, when we first started the podcast, I thought the philosophical questions like, are most people generally happy, or
That was good.
that was good, but nobody answered. However, we ask about eggs, biscuits, and now, more importantly, Muppets, and people were like, yeah!
They're roaring back at us.
And I tell you what, on social media, it was gift city, Charlotte. People were just...
We erupted with comments.
Yeah, we erupted with comments, but it was also every single answer, not every single answer, every second answer was a GIF. And I like a GIF as much as you do. So should we...
I sometimes get GIF wars. It's hilarious.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, I predict a...
GIF war.
Right, so what's your favourite? Who's your favourite Muppet?
Fozzie.
Fozzie.
I love his cheesy jokes and the way he always has the same thing that he does after every time he tells the jokes. He just goes waka waka.
A bit like you. Now, there's also a bit of controversy on this week's Kindness Project because people have included Sesame Street characters as part of the general Muppets canon. Now, for me, because it's Jim Henson, I'd include it. Would you?
I don't know. They're all puppets.
Would you include a Fraggle as a Muppet?
No.
And nobody picked a Fraggle, including me. So yeah. Sean Banks had a really good comment, said, Oscar the Grouch. And he just posted a picture and went, this guy tells it how it is. And he does, doesn't he?
It's just a grouch.
He's just a bit grouch. Does exactly what it says on the tin can. No, are we having it?
Does exactly as it says on the bin.
That's better, high five. Does exactly what it says on the bin. Oscar the Grouch does exactly what it says on the bin. Neil Underwood, who's a regular commentator of the show, he's given us some stories of kindness, listener stories of kindness in the past. Just one photo of Beaker.
I love Beaker. He's hilarious.
Beaker's good. Charlene Young. Now, this particular character would have probably come second or third on my list. Cookie Monster! Nom, 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 nom. Everybody loves the Cookie Monster. Everybody loves the Cookie Monster. Oh, Jeannie Boyle got involved, and we interviewed Jeannie last week. So thanks, Jeannie, for getting involved. Check that podcast out, by the way. Podcast 15. Jeannie's being interviewed on. But Jeannie just simply Fuzzy the Bear.
Waka waka.
Right, so Jeannie agrees with you, Charlotte, that Fozzy's the Muppet. Rob Reed came with a comment, and he agrees with me on this one, Charlotte. Animal's obviously the best. Now I asked my wife while just before we recorded this podcast, and I went, who's your favourite Muppet, Cass? She only had one answer. You. I thought that was a bit harsh, to be frank. But
It wasn't the only reply you got on that though.
Well, Matt Walne said you. Or the Swedish chef he quite like. But we also got some non-Muppet answers. Rich Earl just put a photo of Nigel Farage. Susan Pringle said the chef as well. We also had one comment. Brian Hill said Trump. And then Martin from... That's not Gonzo. That's a bloke called Adam Hosker. He looks nothing like Gonzo.
No, I saw Gonzo.
So Martin from London Money just put a photo of Adam Hosker. Now I don't know Ed, so I'm
Please don't feel offended.
We didn't mean to offend Adam, and if we did, I'm blaming Martin. But yeah, certainly. We had Farage, Trump, and then Adam Hosker, who I genuinely don't know. So, welcome to the podcast, Adam. You are, I'm sure you're just a really lovely fella. And Martin said he was only kidding. We also had a couple of chefs, Rich Ellis. So Susan Pringle said the chef. Richard Ellis said Gonzo. And
I like him in the Muppet Christmas Carol. I think that was the first time I ever
got involved in the Muppets.
Yeah, and it was, that was one of my favourite movies, for 3 years.
And weirdly, for somebody who likes Gonzo, he put a gif of Miss Piggy giving him a slap, which was a bit weird. Oh, now this is a new one. Adam Carolan got involved and said the Count. Do you know who the Count is?
Which one's that?
He's the one who counts on Sesame Street, and he goes 1, 2, 3.
Is it weird? I kind of like the two guys and they sit up in the box.
Well, Gary Howe said animal. David Hearn went for an unusual one. He went for Elmo.
Elmo. Elmo. So adorable.
And
the
and Ian Crump went for Beaker, but Tamsin Kane went for Waldorf and Statler, who's the two blokes who sit in the balcony.
They're hilarious in the Christmas Carol one again. They're just
they're good.
They're dead, but they're funny.
Ian Goodman said, "My boss." I hope your boss don't listen to the podcast, Ian. Glenn May said Gonzo. Sam Wybrow and Alan Bowley said Animal. So we had a bumper haul of people telling us who their favourite Muppet is. But unofficial question, not of the podcast, who's your least favourite Muppet? How about you, Charlotte?
Least favourite? I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have a least favourite Muppet. They're not hateable characters.
No, they're not. They're all lovely.
Also,
they're all lovely.
Another character, or characters plural, that I like. The chickens.
The chickens are good.
The chickens just sing covers of the pop songs.
You know what I love? I mean, the Muppets have had a bit of a resurgence over the last few years, haven't they? With the last two films. And genuinely, getting Brett McKenzie from Flight of the Conchords to record all of the Muppet songs was a stroke of genius. They are so good.
Or am I a Muppet? Am I a Muppet?
Should we just...
I love that song though.
Should we just talk the podcast and let you sing that all the way through?
No.
We also had a couple of listener stories of kindness. Robbie White, my mother-in-law and your nan, got involved again and said she was made happy this week by getting lovely flowers, chocolates and cards from us, which was nice. More Cassie than us, but that's fine. Also getting lovely orchids. Jane got flowers for Cassie's mum as well, so that was really good.
Yo.
And Stu Morrison, the kindest thing that somebody did for him this week was somebody nursed him through his cold. Now, he doesn't specify. He doesn't tell us who actually nursed him through his cold.
He's just grateful for it.
Yeah, he's just grateful
Whoever
for
you
it.
are, he's very grateful.
So whoever nursed Stu Morrison through his cold, it might have been his wife, it might have been his kids, it might have been
the next door neighbour. Might have been some random person who dropped it off
That
the street.
would be strange. Hello, I'm sorry, I've got a cold. Let me come in and nurse you through it. No, that wouldn't have happened.
Sure about that?
Yeah, would you? Right, so let's just play this out. I've got a cold. Okay, you knock on my door. You're a random stranger. Hello?
I'm a medical professional.
What are you doing knocking on my door?
Someone told me you got a cold, so I'm here to prescribe a treatment.
No, I've got Lemsip and I'm going to.
Oh, it's not going to help. It's not going to help.
What do you mean it's not going to help?
Oh, it's more than a common cold.
What is it then? What is it?
It's llama flu.
Right, sorry, you knocked on my door. I don't know who you are. Somebody's told you you've got a cold, and you're diagnosed. You haven't even checked me out, and I've never even heard of llama flu. What's llama flu?
No, it's something I pulled from The Sims.
Oh, right, okay. So I've got a disease that only The Sims. Only characters in the computer game The Sims get, yeah? And you're just a random bloke random lady who's knocked on my door, telling me you're a medical professional. I mean, you're dressed in a puffer jacket and a polo neck. You don't look like a medical professional to me.
I'm a medical professional. I'm definitely a medical professional.
But is this llama flu contagious?
Yes, very
Is that
contagious.
why you're covering your mouth?
Yeah, totally contagious.
All right, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm not sure whether I'd let you in. Still not sure whether I'll let you in. But
Got llama flu, for goodness
llama
sake.
flu. And again, I'm looking that up to see that whether only Sims can catch it or whether anybody can catch it. Well, that is genuinely the end. So, listeners, we'll see you next time.
Bye.